because they are the foundation of our society. Think about that. When you Sovietize, women become as expendable as the warrior class. The warrior class doesn't want to go out and fall on its sword and commit suicide. The warrior class understands that as the militia, we are the sword and the shield of the nation. We are that which is the physical extension of the whole process of good government, whereby, when the time comes, we step forward to defend our form of government and our people.
Okay, you said two key words there, sword and shield.
That's right.
If I'm interpreting that correctly, the sword is an offensive and the shield is defensive.
And the shield is typically, and that is used first. Now again, the idea here is that we will not start a war, but we will end a war. Everybody understand that? In other words, I'll give you every chance to come up with a peaceable solution. But by God, understand that if you wage war against me, I am a terrible threat and foe who will destroy you.
Isn't that typified in that don't tread on me
That's
flag?
right. Don't tread on me, or remember liberty or death. The Gadsden flags. There are many flags, and that's a good point too. Our flags were symbols, obviously, of our different houses, our different nations, our different compacts, the commonwealths, or the constitutional republics of the respective states, which is why we have these banners that are representations that go forward. Now, in the United States, we had a number of different flags, the Gadsden flag, the many militia flags, that expressed the position of those militias that went forward, what their belief system was. All of them agreed on one thing, a common right, and that gets to the whole issue of the beginning of this particular session, which was our liberty interest. The liberty interest must be physically protected. The scale. We have the ability with our minds to do what no other creature on this planet can do. If you do not believe in God, you must at least acknowledge that we have virtually altered the planet. That's for people who say they don't want to acknowledge God. Then let's put it this way. Is there any other creature on this planet that can do what we do? And I know people say, because they do the downer and negative thing, oh, look what we've done to the planet. Well, look at what we have done with the planet. Do the animals or have the penguins done anything with the planet? No. Is it of use? Well, not really. If it weren't for man being here, we wouldn't have even asking the question. Which again bodes to the whole idea of the thought processes and how we are at a higher order. Okay? That's strategic. That's general. Okay?
Is this fitting? Is that fitting?
Oh, I'll find it. And God saith, let us make man in our image, according to our likeness, and let them rule over fish of the sea, and over the fowl of the heavens, and over cattle, and we have a version of the cattle industry here, and all the earth, and over every creeping thing that is creeping on the earth. Yes, exactly. And that again is one of the things that we have to understand, is that because we do think, and we have the ability to do so, that we are of a higher order. We also should have a higher standard, and we should be trying to achieve that higher standard constantly. Too long have we had people doing the negative with everything that we do. Now, in reverse that is the bottom line. If we wish to achieve something, we have to pick a goal, move towards the goal, accomplish it, and we're not finished, because that's not how life works. That gets into that whole time issue we talked about. Time's linear. It keeps going. It continues. We're in a comfortable niche we sometimes don't want to do anymore because we become comfortable. Terrible thing about the militia and about the Patriot movement, I'm going to say real quick. There is no retirement. Oh man, Mark, you just ruined my day, man. That's true. There is no retirement. And in fact, people counted on that. Let me ask you something. Okay, what do you think the 60s with the generation gap was all about, guys? It was designed to divide, separate, and conquer. Think about it, what it was supposed to do. Traditionally, in America and in all societies that are intelligent, we honor the old. We protect the young. Now I'll go to another element, even if you don't believe in God. Across there at that university on the other side, if you went to the anthropology department, they would ask you, or the question would be asked, how can you determine the level and standard of a civilization between that and, say, a mob of animals? The basic rules. Anybody had archaeology? Okay, number one, how a people treat their young, how a people treat their very old, and how a people treat their dead. The difference between an animal that leaves a body laying on the ground until the war is carried away, and the fact that we acknowledge the fact that we are of a higher order, and how we treat each other, ourselves, and how we even respect the dead. Think about this, even if eventually all things turn even to dust. Stone turns to dust, graves disappear. But for as long as a grave survives, pretty much everybody was taught, no matter whose grave it is, it's respected, isn't it? Think about it. When you're in another land, you don't go, hey, nice poles. Oh, sorry about that. He fell, did he? Well, I'll pick him up later. You see what I mean? Or, hey, cool stone. Look good at my house. Let's take that, knock it over, and put it on the wagon here and get out of here. Okay? Isn't going to happen with the standards that are established. That's an overview. That's a concept of why it is we are so different. Now, the militia, the sword and the shield. There is a point where we have to strike, and we have to fight. And like I said earlier, when some people ask, who do you think shot first, Mark, at Lexington and Concord, that's been the question forever. I believe a militiaman did. I believe he did because at some point you say, I've had enough. Okay? And there is a need for force. How long do you let a criminal get away with such actions before you finally say no? Now, I wrote a series of books, by the way. In fact, how many people know I spent some time in the monastery, okay? Behind the wire for a little bit, 7 years. I maxed out, by the way. With a perfect score and everything, okay? Which doesn't make a difference because, as was pointed out by a person inside, she turned and showed me the screen. She said,